Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. Today we are the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers. We're taking on, oh, that was a terrible pass, Fulham in the Barclays Premier League. And I'm going to talk to you about the Lord's Resistance Army today. Something that's been very much in the news, if you pay attention at least to social media. The charity Invisible Children, known for their, outreach and work on this subject, has released a new video, a gut-wrenching and also very inspiring 30-minute documentary talking about the history of the LRA and what we can do to help. It's been a really interesting day in the world of people who care about such things because, you had to finish there. Beef stock, I expect better of you. Because it's very, very rare to see this kind of energy appear almost out of nowhere about, come on, finish, about charity work, particularly because the LRA, nothing happened. There was no news story. The LRA was evil yesterday. They were evil 10 years ago, and they're evil today. And yet it was all at once that this movement emerged, which is really exciting to people who care about the internet's ability to mobilize people to make the world a better place. And then of course there's an inevitable backlash because, and some of it justified because how can you not finish from there? By the way, the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers are playing fantastic. We haven't scored yet, but my goodness. We're still on the same skill level, I promise. So, because Invisible Children has, there are, and I think to some extent, legitimate concerns about their financial transparency. And if you go to, websites that look at, where charity dollars are best spent, like Charity Navigator, they have some concerns that haven't been very effectively addressed about the work that Invisible Children has done. And there's the fact that, the actual business of dealing with the LRA is extremely complicated. And in the last, the truth is that in the last, how can we not be finishing from these beautiful crosses? In the last 2 years, things have changed dramatically for the better in terms of how the United States government is dealing with the LRA, including that there are now military advisors from members of the United States Armed Forces on the ground in Uganda working with the army there to fight the LRA. For those of you who don't know what this is, by the way, the LRA is this hideous organization that basically is just like, at this point, just a mercenary organization that uses child soldiers to murder people and wreak terrible havoc. What are you giving me a yellow card for being handsome? I cannot possibly understand what that yellow card was for. Can I see a replay? I got a yellow card for that? That's just hugging with ankles. Anyway, I'm very disappointed in Ball John Green for getting a yellow card, but I don't think that he should get a yellow card for being an ankle hugger. Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, this, the internet news cycle, Hank and I posted about this on Tumblr. There's a link in the doobly-doo, but the internet news cycle moves very fast. Something that feels important on the internet one day can be completely forgotten on the internet the next day, and that's always been one of our concerns. That's one of the reasons we organized the Project for Awesome the way we did. Can we just find a way to finish, guys? Because we're dominating the game. Is because we wanted, we understand that things on the internet go away quickly, so we wanted it to be, like a quick project once a year. With something like this, what'll be most interesting to see is how the internet responds to this problem long term, because there is no doubt that this is a very, very serious problem that's been facing the world for a long time. And I think one of the reasons that some people were frustrated with the kind of like overall internet response to this is that Oh, what a great job. French the Lana from a ball John Green pass. That's new school Swindon Town Swoodly Pooper football right there. That's how we play on the 4-3-3. I love the way that we're playing right now. This is just fantastic to see. All of a sudden, the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers not looking like a team that's going to struggle to stay out of the relegation zone in the Barclays Premier League. All of a sudden, looking like a team that could finish, I don't know, 12th, 11th. Who knows? The sky's the limit. We are 34 points out of first place, so I don't think that we're going to win. So the question is, how do you use this very positive energy to make change and to dismantle the LRA and that business turns out is going to be very, very complicated, and it's going to take a long time, regardless of whether the leaders of the LRA are imprisoned or killed, whether the the army is effectively dismantled. There will still be the problem of 1,500 or 2,000 child soldiers who will have a very difficult time integrating back into their communities, and so the work of this will take years, not hours. And the internet news cycle can at times only pay attention to things for hours. And so the challenge that we face, being both residents of the internet and people who want to be a part of making meaningful changes in the world and decreasing world suck, the biggest challenge that we face on that front is paying sustained attention. And that is really difficult. That's why, by the way, Hank and I have a long-standing policy, great pass ball, John Green, of not making Vlogbrothers videos about news stories while the internet is doing a good job of talking about them. Because during the time the internet is doing a good job of talking about them, we don't feel like we need to add our voice. The time when we feel like we need to add our voice is when when attention has strayed a little bit, or when the focus isn't there. So we weren't talking about Pakistan when Benazir Bhutto was killed. We talked about Pakistan 2 months before and 4 months after, when Pakistan wasn't as much in the news. We don't talk about Nepal when it's in the middle of a military coup. We talk about Nepal. Ball John Green. Finish. No. Dang it. That was a premature finisher. Should have passed to French the Lana. Ball John Green. He just loves to finish. That's the problem. And that'll be the case with this as well. I mean, I'm much less interested in making a video about the LRA right now he was offside. He was offside. Thank you. Than I will be in 4 or 6 or 8 months when the sort of hive mind of the internet might be paying a little bit less attention to it. On that front, yesterday I made a video about Syria, and I'd been wanting to make a video about Syria for weeks, and I kept talking to Hank about it, and he kept reminding me of this this belief that we have, that we don't need to be part of conversations when the internet is already doing a good job. And for a long time I felt like we were doing, as an online community, a really good job of paying attention to the stories coming out of Syria, and then I think the focus flagged a little bit, and it made sense to make a video, and so that's go off the post for Ball John Green. Boy, I mean, you got to say, Fulham have not looked good today. That's not to say that they won't necessarily come back and squeeze a point out of us, because we do give up a lot of goals, but they have not looked great. And I'm proud of my boys, even though they seem a little tired. Maybe I need to make some substitutions. I see a lot of guys with hands on knees. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's just go ahead and take out the John Greens, put in some Stone Cold Steve Austin, some voluptuous Pericard. So voluptuous. And don't we have anybody? Mr. Fahey's tired. He tires easily. I don't like to criticize. Leroy Williamson would be an appropriate substitution in this situation. There we go. All 3 substitutions at once, just like professional football managers do. So the real question for me is twofold. Can we, as an internet community, do our due diligence to try to understand international and, I mean, whether they're problems at home or abroad, to understand problems and how best to address them? Can we do our due diligence to do the research, to pay attention, and then can we pay sustained attention? And those are two separate questions, but to me they're equally important. The question of whether we can, will we be? I thought that Invisible Children video was beautiful. It was beautifully done, and it was inspiring, and it fired me up. But like then the job is to to go to Wikipedia and to go to reputable news sources and to read up on the last 10 and 20 years of history on this topic, to understand what the U.S. government is doing and what the governments of Uganda and South Sudan and the Central African Republic and the DRC are doing to battle the Lord's Resistance Army. Is what they're doing sufficient? Does it make sense? Should there be a different strategy? That becomes the conversation after researching the topic. And then once you've sort of done your due diligence and you've figured out what you think the appropriate response is, then the job becomes the slow, messy business of paying sustained attention over a long period of time. And that that isn't easy, and it isn't always it doesn't always feel as exciting, I guess, as it can feel when you're in that first moment of discovering something that you're passionate about. But that's really where the good work gets done, is in the business of daily and sustained attention. So that's sort of my response to this burgeoning movement, is that I hope that it continues to move, and even more importantly, I hope that we continue to figure out, as a group and as individuals, what makes sense. Like, what is the proper response here? Are you injured? Are you for real injured? Oh no, we won! Congratulations to the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers, forcing Fulham to smell their armpits in shame. Voluptuous pair card with some good play. He had a nice run to seal the deal. Merrick, silent, but as always, talented.